It turns out my husband is not who he says that he is, or he's not who I thought he was this entire time I married him. It turns out he only cares about money, and I never thought he was like that. Well, guys, my father, he passed away. He left me a substantial amount, but it was mainly in the form of a company that he started. Well, my husband, he has this weird idea that he's going to take over the company, but hey, he doesn't know a thing about it. And then I try to stand up for myself, for my family's business. But first let me interrupt and tell you this. My father, he never liked this man. He never trusted my husband, and he told me from the get-go, do not marry him. I wish my father could see that I'm starting to think he was right. Hey, I don't know where to start this post. I'm half posting it because I want to vent, but also because I want to get your thoughts on it. Am I right in going about this the way I am? I feel like I'm in the right, but some of my friends are really split. See, my husband and I were starting to have some issues, that's for sure. This is normal in marriage, and when I said I was going to marry him, I knew that this would be for better or worse, but my husband had done something that I never thought he would do. He cheated on me. The moment I found out he cheated on me, I wanted to get my ducks in a row, but then my father died of a sudden heart attack that nobody saw coming. It kind of made me forget the fact that my husband cheated. After he died, I kinda went numb and started focusing on the fact that we had to take care of him. My issues with my husband were going to have to wait. However, my husband cheating on me was not the worst thing that he did. I'll go into what he did afterward and explain why I'm not going forward with the divorce yet. If I can actually prove that he's cheating, well, I'll be able to divorce him without having to split my money at all. But again, let me go back a bit then and just, get back to what my husband did after my dad's funeral. My dad was my everything. He and my mom were well off, but I never let this get to my head. Yes, they spoiled me rotten, but I was their only kid. Why wouldn't they spoil their only kid? The three of us were happy, and I did my best to make my parents proud. But I wasn't perfect, and yes, I got the occasional bad grade and got into trouble. But for the most part, I was simply on my best behavior. I went on to go to college, and I got a job at a law firm. And then I got my own house by the time I was 28. Yes, it was because my parents helped me, but at least I was able to get a house. This is pretty big for someone who wasn't in their 20s. Around this time, I met my future husband. He swept me off my feet from the start, and it was amazing. The man wined and dined me, never making me feel like I was anything but the most special lady in his life. It was something I wasn't used to. Let me tell you, a lot of the guys I used to date were huge jerks. But Frank did not come off as a jerk. He was always there for me. It was terrifying to introduce him to my parents because I had no idea what they were going to say. My dad had been pretty harsh with some of my exes before, always fighting some reason not to like them. One of my boyfriends claimed that he hated him because he cleared his throat too much. Yeah, my father could be very harsh. My mom, she was the exact opposite, always trying to be welcoming when she met Frank. She seemed to like him, but after the dinner, my dad came to me and said that he hated me. There was just something about Frank that did not sit right with him. I told my dad that it was my decision. He seemed fine with that until I announced that I wanted to marry Frank. My dad lashed out, telling me I can't do that. When it became clear that I was not going to change my mind, my father told me he wasn't going to stand in my way in my happiness because he didn't want to lose me. That's why I loved my dad. He was a great guy who always made it clear that he would be there for me no matter what. So we had the wedding. I remember my dad breaking into some tears when we first said our vows. I wasn't sure if he was crying because he was happy or because he was upset that I was marrying Frank. Either way, he did not try to interrupt or anything. The one thing my dad asked me after the wedding was if I had signed a prenup. I gasped, telling my dad that I would never do such a thing like that. It wasn't right of me to ask my now husband or then future husband to sign a prenup. How could I do that? How? When I loved him. Asking him to sign something like that would mean that I did not trust that he was marrying me for love. Looking back, I can see that my father was right, and wish I could go back in time to have him sign something. There's no guarantee that my husband would have even signed anything. He might have called off the whole wedding, which is what would have helped me realize that marrying him was not the right thing to do. It was the wrong thing to do. If my dad were still alive and knew what he had done to me, he would be so angry, guys. My dad may have said I told you so, but then he would have pulled me into a tight hug, assuring me that he did not blame me for absolutely anything. People make these mistakes, and I would have learned from it, and now this brings me to what happened to my father. See, my father was always healthy as a horse, never in his old age. I didn't realize anything was wrong with him. He seemed fine before his death, but the next thing I knew, my mother was calling me, telling me that my dad had a heart attack. When I tell you I was surprised, that's an understatement. It took us all by surprise. I had to deal with planning everything. So trying to deal with learning my husband was cheating on me was the furthest thing on my mind. The thing that pushed me to start getting everything in gear was when we were at my parents' house during a get-together at the house after the funeral. I walked into my dad's office and saw my husband sitting in the chair. This guy smiled and said that everything was all his now. If I don't go along with him, then he will divorce me and make sure that he takes half of my inheritance. Honestly, every ounce I loved I had for him, it shattered at that exact moment. All I did was just put on a forced smile and nod, but inside I was laughing. He had said the dumbest thing ever. See, my husband had cheated, and I was just going to get divorced over with because I couldn't take any more stress. It might end with him getting half of my money because I wouldn't have good proof of his infidelity. But I didn't care because of everything I've been through. All that mattered was being able to make a clean getaway from him. However, his doing that reminded me that my dad would not want me to just roll over and accept this. What he would want me to do is continue to fight until I can make sure my cheating jerk of a bucket husband can't take any money from me. So I'm planning dumb right now. I'm just playing it stupid, gathering evidence of his cheating and trying to pretend everything is okay. I haven't drafted the divorce papers yet, but that is the next thing on my list of what I'm going to do. What do you guys think? Am I doing the right thing? Is it okay for me to pretend everything is all right while I try to gather evidence? Or should I just be upfront with him? I've talked to a few of my friends about this and they're split on it. Honestly, I think that I'm making the right decision. But I thought that, you know what? I'll go ahead and reach out just to see what everyone thinks. Well, plus, this is a good way for me to get it off my chest. Yes, I've talked to my family and friends, but they always look at me with pity. It's easy to talk to a bunch of strangers on the internet, because they aren't going to be looking at you strangely or with any look of pity in their eyes. I don't know when I'll update again, but I'll just give some time because this is a lot that's been happening to me. Anyways, I'll see ya. Update number 1. I drafted the divorce papers and my husband doesn't have a clue. My last post a few days ago got a few people saying to me that I should not be waiting so long or pretending that everything's okay. See, I understand why you're frustrated, and I think that I should be breaking up with him now. But there's a reason why I'm not just running straight to the lawyer to draft up divorce papers. You guys, I did mention, unless I can prove he's cheating, he's going to be getting half of what I make, which includes my father's money. Why the hell would I want him to have all the hard-earned money my father made? Plus my money, I'm not trying to come off as rude or lash out at all you, but if I did not find the proof of cheating, then I'm messed financially. Yes, I know he's cheating. However, I need concrete proof of it, or I won't have a way to make sure my husband doesn't take my money. He doesn't deserve it. It is this bitter ranting of a scorned wife, I guess. Yeah, it probably is. It doesn't change the fact that I'm not going to let him have my money. Anyways, let's get to the reason why I'm updating, right? The divorce papers have been drafted up, and all I have to do is have them served to my husband when I'm ready. I'm talking to my lawyer to have it up until I have the proof I need. Meanwhile, I need to keep acting and pretending that I don't hate my husband's guts. It's hard not to do, and I hate that he threw away our entire marriage. How did I fall for his bullcrap for so long? This is the strangest thing out of all this. My dad did try to warn me, and it's not for his death. I would have started this divorce process a lot further. 2 weeks sooner. It's certainly not how I imagined my life turning out. In my mind, I was going to end up being married for the rest of my life to the love of my life. We were supposed to try for a child soon, but now that it's off the table, why would I want to waste any more time on him? Wasting any more time on that cheating husband of mine was going to do nothing but make me depressed. It's bad enough I've wasted this much time on him. In my family, there's nothing wrong with divorce, but when you get married, you try to make it work as long as you can. I did try, but my husband had other things on his mind. This is probably, isn't even the first time he's cheated. I guarantee you that. He's probably been cheating on me for years now. But I've never realized it because I'm a fool. Anyways, that's where my life is right now. I simply just don't know when I'm finally going to serve him with divorce papers, but I do promise it's going to be soon. As soon as I get the proof that he has been cheating on me, I'm going to have him served with cheating paper and pictures. Not the originals. I'll have the originals, of course. They're going to be copies. I hope you can all understand my point of view right now. Your advice is well-meaning to get this over with and end my marriage sooner, but this is not something I'm going to do right now. All of you need to understand that. Anyways, I'll update you guys soon. Update number 2. I served my husband with divorce papers. He was smug until I presented him with the pictures of him cheating. It took way too long for me to get the evidence I needed. My last post was 2 weeks ago? Yeah, about 2 weeks ago. It looks like I had to go through so many hoops just to get some evidence. My husband has been very good at hiding things. It's actually surprising that he's good at hiding things because my husband has never been very good at sneaking around. The man can lie, but I know when he's telling a lie, if that makes sense. This makes me wonder how the hell he even did it. Where did I go wrong? I wonder if I've just stopped paying attention to things. Whatever the reason, I didn't realize he was cheating on me, which is my point. The original reason I found out he was cheating was because somebody texted me, saying they were having an affair with my husband. They knew things that they could only know if they slept with him, but this still wasn't enough. It's just a text and could be a lie. My husband did not seem to have any idea. He's still acting like a smug jerk who wants to open his own business. Yes, he wants to quit his job and then open up this online business. See, he doesn't know the first thing about running a business. This man is good at his job, but it's a 9-to-5 office job, which does not require understanding of the inner workings of running a business. If he were to try to run a business, I guarantee he would run it to the ground. The man has never been good with finances, which is making me wonder why I even stayed married to him for so long. I mean, yeah, I love him, but I think I could just admit that the marriage was starting to fail a long time ago. What did they call it again? The sunk fallacy? But let's get to what happened when my husband and I sat down. So, I had him served with divorce papers, and he got this look on his face. This was a smug that I wanted to slap it off. The man was such a jerk, making me wonder what I ever saw in him. But then I pulled out the copies of the cheating pictures. See, I decided to have a PI follow him. It was expensive, but it got me the pictures I needed. When I told him I had videos too, he paled and then dropped to his knees. Guys, this man started sobbing and clutching at my legs. He was begging me not to leave him, and it was all a mistake. How does someone make a mistake with the same women several times over 2 weeks? He didn't have an answer. I got up and pushed him away, and I told him under no uncertain terms were we going to stay married. The two of us were getting divorced, and he was getting no money and could go to hell as far as I was concerned. My husband stormed out, and that was fine with me. I was going to kick him out anyways. I mean, no idea when he was going to go. Maybe he's going to go to his mistress's house or something. I mean, let her take care of him. I'll update you guys if anything else happens. I fear that my husband is going to try something stupid, because that's how he gets when he's desperate. But let's just hope that this is the last you'll hear from me. Update number 3. Guys, you're absolutely not going to believe this. My husband, he's took everything. He took all the money directly out of our joint account. I mean, it's gone. It's absolutely gone. And, oh boy. My husband took all the money out of our joint account. Joke's on him. This isn't going to look good in the divorce proceeding. This is my quickest update yet, and I did not think I would be updating just 2 days later, but my husband decided to take all the money out of our joint account. It was such a shock to go in there and see the money's gone. I sat there for a while, trying to figure out if I was seeing what I was seeing, but it was true. My husband took it all. The only thing I could think of was he was such an idiot. Let me tell you, I did not expect him to do that, and the man is truly something, but I was 3 steps ahead of him because I already alerted my lawyer that he was going to do something like this. And when it came to joint money, it's supposed to stay in the account so the both of us can access it. During divorce, this is where it should stay. If one party happens to take all of it out, then this won't look good. It can't be used as an example of the spouse trying to go all scorched on their partner. This is what my husband is trying to do. He wants to punish me for daring to push towards a divorce. I already make more money than him, so I don't know who he thinks he's hurting. The only person my husband is hurting is himself. This is not going to look good when the judge gets a look at it, I can tell you that much. Thanks to everyone leaving me well wishes and asking me how I'm doing. I'm gonna be honest, I'm having a hard time. My father, he just died, and when I have to deal with a divorce, I mean honestly, I wish my dad were here to see it, because he hated my ex-husband. If he could see the 2 of us were getting divorced, he would be thrilled. I don't know what he would do with himself, probably hug me and then throw myself a divorce party, as strange as it sounds. There aren't going to be any more updates, I think. I'm going to be going through with the divorce, and my husband is going to make things difficult. I don't think there's anything else to discuss, but if something does come up, well, I'll let you know. This has just been a place for me to vent. Update number 4. This is the final update of the story. My ex-husband's mistress left him when she found out he was a brokey. He also has nowhere to go after I told his family what he did. It's been a month since my last update, and I'm telling you I did not think I was going to be posting here again. But then karma hit my husband faster than a lightning bolt hitting from the ground. Okay, so I won't beat around the bush and I'll get straight to the point. Once, my soon-to-be ex-husband had lost his mistress. Once it became clear that he wasn't going to be getting much money or anything, his mistress dumped him. It wasn't the same one who had texted me all those months ago, though, see. She was someone who he did have a little fling with, and did not even know that he was married. Once she found out, she ended it all. But this could not be said for his current mistress. She had no qualms about sleeping with a married man and seemed to enjoy it. Joke's on her if she thought that he was rich, because he wasn't. My husband, or almost ex-husband, is a pathetic man who did all this to himself. I heard through some mutual friends that when he could not pay for something of hers, he was forced to admit that he was broke. She kicked him out of the apartment where he was staying and said they were over. Then my husband tried to stay with some of his family, but I told him everything he did. Get this, his parents, his brother, and his sister, they love me. They always thought I was good for their son, so as soon as they found out that their son and brother cheated on me, they cut him off. Now my husband's staying with a cousin who lives in a studio apartment and works some dead-end job. This is where he gets. He's messed around and he found out, and I'm not going to use the actual phrase, so I can keep things safe for work. Is that what they say here? But anyways, if you think he may have tried to come crawling to me to beg for forgiveness, you were right. He said that he still loved me and wanted to make things work, yada yada, but I told him to get the hell away from me. You know, when his last-ditch attempt to woo me failed, he just started to yell, but I slammed the door in his face, telling him to get out of my life, and that's it. It's been a few weeks, and now I'm officially single and ready to mingle, baby.